Eric, you guys have a big long break now. What's the focus of these next couple of weeks before the game?
Notre Dame. That's definitely the focus. You know, we had a meeting yesterday, put Louisville to bed, and so from now on it's going to be all Notre Dame.
Is there a sense that you guys need? Are you guys going to go back to working maybe some of the stuff you did in training camp, just to kind of refine some things, look at some areas where maybe you could be doing better than you are now?
Right. I think, you know, definitely there's going to be a little bit of touching on the fundamentals, but, you know, we're going to be 100% worried about Notre Dame. We're going to be going through scout periods, you know, really focused on their defense.
How does it change your preparation when you have 2 weeks instead of one?
It's just a lot better for us because we have more time to prepare. We have a lot more time to where maybe we don't have to be in here so late at night watching film. You know, we can get it done throughout the day because we have that extra week.
Did you take time to watch Notre Dame Saturday against Georgia?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. You know, I love having Saturday off. That's a big time where we can sit down and watch. I watched every game, you know, from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. I was watching football games. But it was good to see them. You know, they're a pretty dominant defense. They really played great assignment football. You know, when teams play Georgia Tech, they tend to give up little things here and there, and I really didn't see any of that. So it really speaks to how, you know, assignment football they are and how sound they are on their defense.
Do you watch it like a fan, or do you sit there and go, I know they've got the safety high and the linebacker straight?
Unfortunately, you know, since my junior year in high school, I haven't been able to watch football from a fan's perspective. You know, it kind of stinks a little bit because you're always watching, seeing tendencies and watching things develop, but I guess it's a good thing that I've developed.
So when you watch Notre Dame, what stood out to you?
Obviously, they fly around. They bring a lot of pressure. You know, number 9 is a heck of an athlete. He makes a ton of crazy plays, it seems like. You know, he's running all over the field. You know, and 90 is a great bull rusher. So they're going to have great defensive pressure, and we're just going to have to pick it up. Barry, that's Deshaun switching the protection or, you know, various things with the running back.
Eric, you said you guys put Louisville to bed yesterday. Still, was there any kind of wonder about, you know, why didn't we score more points? Why weren't we more productive on offense? Or do you simply say, you know, Louisville had a terrific defense, and we, you know, a win is a win is a win?
I think a win is a win is a win. Obviously, they have a fairly good defense. They ran a bunch of different pressure things, which we knew we were going to expect. I think they had 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss. So I think the offensive line held their own out there. Did a very good job dominating the line of scrimmage. You know, and it was a fun game. I think we took what they gave us, and you know, their goal was to not give up big plays. And you know, I think it was great to see that our offensive coordinators were patient. It was great to see them sticking to the run and just keep piling it down their defense. So we had a good time. It's a fun game when you can rush for over 200 yards.
What's going through your mind when Gore goes out, Morgan comes in, he goes out, and Maverick's out of position?
You know, it's a great thing that he's played there before. You know, I was kind of surprised that they didn't mention that I would have to go out there a little bit, you know, going through every position in the world throughout my career. But it was really good to see Maverick step up. I think he had 2 knockdowns on 8 plays, so it's pretty high performance by him. You know, and he didn't complain about it. He wasn't crying. He just put his head down and went to work.
Eric, there were a number at the Louisville game. There were a number of national media there. They were there you know, they were there to see Deshaun and watch him play. They thought maybe it'd be a breakout game. Do you think, how's he handling that kind of pressure, that kind of attention on him?
You know, I think he's had that throughout his career, honestly. This has been a kid that has obviously been very successful in the college and high school rank. You know, I think it speaks measures to his mentors, his mother, his coaches, just keeping him level-headed. And, you know, he does a great job of that. I've never, you know, seen Deshaun have a weak moment to where he's, you know, too big or full of himself. And it's a great thing to see, especially in a young leader like Deshaun.
We were just joking around over there earlier about running the football the way you guys did the other night. Talk about, you know, what that feels like as an offensive lineman to know this guy back there is doing what he's doing.
You know, Wayne just ran unbelievably hard. You know, there was a number of times where he was tackled for a second, then he just broke free and, you know, grabbed that extra yardage. But it's incredible to have a guy that, you know, is going to bust his tail to get those extra yards. It just makes you want to block a little bit harder, block a little longer, so, you know, maybe he can squeak one out. And, you know, Wayne has just done a great job all season. And when he got hot, we just kept feeding him, which is what you love to see as offensive line.
Kept hitting that B button a couple times.
Yeah. We ran a, you know, outside zone, and, you know, he just made it happen. You know, he was spinning all over him. You know, he's just a great athlete.
You played in a long time for this. Are you having fun?
Yeah, loving it. Guys out there flying around, being out there with all the different guys when we plug and play, like you said, Mavericks, seeing them just grow as athletes and, to go through something similar that I had to go through in my career. It's just great to finally, feel the fruits of my labor.
Have you had that moment yet where you kind of were out on the field, you just took it all in?
I think really that first game when I was a captain, just being out there in front of, I think we had 81,000 or something for, Wofford, not putting them down or anything, but that's something that normally has not happened here when we had that first game against a lesser opponent. But when I just looked around and saw all these people there screaming, I was like, here it is, one last going around.
Eric, I know we've got some time before the Notre Dame game, but I mean, in preparations, is it going to feel like it did a couple of years ago when Florida State came in here, two top 11 teams, I guess, getting ready to play a game here?
We're just excited. Hopefully it'll be a great environment. I know Notre Dame travels extremely well. I've heard rumors that they've already rented out the Smoking Pig since summer, so so that's exciting. They're taking one of our things, but guys got to make money. Can't fault them for that. But yeah, we're just hoping for a great environment, and we're going to put on a good show.
Is that when you came to Clemson and you played Ohio State a few years ago, you played Oklahoma last year, and now you get to see these Golden Domes here at Death Valley. Can you talk about what that's like, or small town guy just to kind of go up against those legends of college football?
It's just amazing to play the winningest team in college football history, one of the greatest traditions, obviously. Half my family is from Indiana, right there at Notre Dame, so it's a very personal game for me. Notre Dame was one of those sleeper choices for me, so I really, love their campus, love everything they're about, so it's going to be very exciting to get the opportunity to play against them.
You say half your family's from, India, from South Bend, Indiana, around in South Bend. What half of it, and how much Notre Dame football did you have growing up?
Literally, my father's entire side of the family is Notre Dame fans. He still pulls for them a little bit, I think, but his blood runs.
Here, though, right?
Not here. His blood runs orange and purple. But like I said, it's gonna be a little personal for me out there on Saturday. Got a lot of them coming down, so it's just gonna be It's gonna be a fun game.
So your dad actually lived in South Bend?
They did, yeah. They lived right there, Plymouth, however close that is. So yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.